Wow, here I am late at night. Wow, 10:15 on the Pacific Coast. That's like 1:15 on the East Coast. Well. I meant to get on here sooner after the launch stream, but I was struggling with my MailChimp program, trying to get the mass email out that I was supposed to send before I actually launched, and it just blew up on me. So I finally got that figured out and taken care of. And I've been dealing, of course, with the phenomenal blowback on Twitter for appearing on Ethan's stream to launch this book. Now I'm an evil, horrible person. In fact, someone actually said, "Oh, he used to be a good guy." So going on someone's live stream and launching a book suddenly makes you an evil person. Interesting times, world we live in, that's for sure. Big project coming up. Oh, heck yeah, there is. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It launched really strong. I was, didn't want to be greedy or anything, but I was really hoping to push that up to 30,000, just based on what we know of campaigns and how they go. So much is determined in that first 24 hours and how well it launches to how much momentum you get and how far you can actually get down the line, in funding. And, the thing with, total transparency, of course, is the, someone just put a really horrible emoji up there. It looks like I'm going to be dealing with this for a while. The thing is, you try and figure out, how much would it cost me to do this project, right? And how much do I have to get up front to actually be able to put it all together? And when you start factoring in, cost of mailing and printing costs and platform fees, it's, the amount you need to get ends up being a lot higher than you originally think, right? So you're never comfortable. You're never comfortable. As great as a start as this campaign has had, and I owe it all to you guys. I really do. I really appreciate the support and the backing on it. We've hit our goal, obviously. I set a very low goal, but my intention was always to do this book regardless of what happened, because I think it's, I'm at a stage in my career, in my life where, if I'm going to do something other than just, what I've done at Marvel and DC and other places for the past 30 years, I better do it now. And that's kind of my, that's kind of how my outlook is on it. It's kind of a do or die situation. So let's do it. Man, you are just, first of all, I appreciate the fact that you're actually here, because you're always here. But you and your muscle figures for a stretch goal, I don't think, that seems like that would be way too expensive for me to tackle at this point. But you're right, I did get fantastic numbers for a rookie, and that is actually true. I'm the oldest rookie in the league. So anyway, I could not. Tomorrow I'm going to do like epic live streaming most of the day. And I think what I'm going to do, my goal is, my plan is to like do sketches of all the actual supporting characters in Wraith of God. So you've got like the sheriff, who's a mysterious figure, the museum curator, the gambler, the lady of the night, of course the Wraith, Esther, one of the characters that plays a prominent role in actually possessing the amulet that the werewolves are after. So there's like some characters I just kind of got this sort of desire to get in there and start and just visualize these characters and let you guys see them as, I mean, they're developed in my brain, but I haven't really developed them on paper. A few of them I have, but it's like I want to get these characters down. And so I think that's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. And it could take all day. I may just stream all freaking day long. It'd be like an Aaron con. Oh, wait a minute. Excuse me. I mean an Aaron. Yeah. So yeah, I know what muscle figures. I know they're not action figures, but there's those little plastic things. They're like this big. But I mean, they have to be sculpted, and then you have to mold them. That seems like a lot of stuff that I can't potentially can't handle. Oh, let's see here. What was this? I was trying, kept telling him to push it, but he was ignoring me. No, it went really well. You know, that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of guys on that show, and everybody's got, you know, they've got stuff they want to promote, and plus, you know, Ethan doesn't get his numbers by promoting us. He gets his numbers by, you know, talking controversial topics. So he had plenty of those worked in there too. And then of course, whenever you get that many guys in a room, even if it's a virtual room, you know, you get all sorts of tangents and stuff. But so no, I think it went really well. I was really pleased and happy that I got an opportunity to get this thing launched correctly, I hope. I can't quite, there's weird emojis up there. I can't quite figure out what they are, if they're threatening or if they're just trying to be funny. I don't know what they are. Looks like a happy face that's bleeding from the mouth, but I don't actually think that's probably what that is. So anyway, the few of you that happen to be watching right now, you know, I assume all you guys have already backed the campaign, right? And if you haven't, gosh darn it, you better get over there and do it. I didn't put a link in the thing. So talk about a last second live stream. I was completely, see, Gary backed it. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate it. I needed to kind of cleanse my palate though, you know, because I mean, let's face it, we have some of those live streams get a little raunchy, which is really not my thing. So I had to kind of get on here and kind of cleanse the old palate before I went to bed and say nice, wholesome things. Lewis Bright Raven was a number 5 backer. How about that? Thank you, man. I appreciate that. You know, even at 10 o'clock at night, Jeff's bringing it. But I can bring it too at 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, I know. I need to show more. I had a little knee in there too. I showed a little knee. So, yeah, I was, yeah, that was a little bit on the uncomfortable side, but, you know, got to push the product on the platform. I'd probably be pretty uncomfortable if I was on the Tonight Show too. So, let me do this just kind of not as a warm up, but as a cool down. I don't even know where my right buttons are. Oh, I didn't even open up my camera controls. That's how, I tell you, all the Twitter blowback and then fighting with my chimp mail program, trying to figure out how to write an email. You'd think that'd be the easiest thing in the world, but it's got me a little flustered tonight. I'm a little flustered. But okay, I want to, okay, I've got a what? Tax beer at Exesberry. I bet that says something, and I'm just not pronouncing it right. Man, I tell you. I should grab a link real quick here, just for the heck of it. Just for the heck of it. Okay, there, done it. Now, maybe this will work. Will this work? Okay, so I just put it in. Is that live, that link? I hope it is. Gabriel, man, you're backer number 15. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate it. I honestly didn't know what to expect tonight. And, you know, apparently some of the guys on the panel were a little surprised as well as how well it did. And I wasn't even sure. I wasn't, you look at someone like, John Malin's Godlike that pulled $100,000 in like 4 hours, and you think, okay, so probably not going to do that, but where would I need to be that I could feel successful? And it's always relative, right? Because I did better than probably a lot of people, but I didn't do as good as some other people. So it's kind of like, where do you fit in that? What are your expectations? I don't know. I'm learning as I go. But I'm really close to where I thought I needed to be. And the first 24 hours isn't even up yet. I mean, we're like, we got all day tomorrow. And I kind of felt like if I could get to 30,000 in the first 24 hours, that I would be on track for what I needed to do to actually not lose money on this. So we shall see. Appreciate it, man. Well, we all get really brave when we don't really have, we feel like, we get down to our last few options, so. But I'm happy to be working on a creator-owned project. I mean, what the heck? That's supposed to be over here. Because a lot of us, we always dream of that, right? I mean, when you're a kid and you're like, thanks, Shauner. I'm not evil. I'm really not. You probably did, man. I so rarely looked at my comics after they were done. I mean, I know that sounds stupid, but I really didn't, and all that often. So I didn't really know who was coloring stuff that I was doing half the time. Okay, so I'm not going to. Oh, this is like a Sunday afternoon evening show already, isn't it? There you go. Boy, since they reconfigured my control panels here, man, it takes me forever to find my little clips. I know, dude. I forgot to put it in there. I wonder. You know what? I probably could. I wonder. I don't know if I can actually edit it while I'm. Why don't I come back up here so you don't have to look at my my lap? Is there a way to, if I opened up another browser and went to YouTube, right? Oh, there I am. I'm live on YouTube right now.
Browser.
And then let's say I close that out. Ooh, I can. Okay, let me try this. How about that? Now let's see. Did it magically appear? Did the link magically appear in the description? I just put it in the description, so that should be there now. Gosh darn it. I don't know what this means. Showing your lap like we are on OnlyFans. What does that mean? Okay, yay, there it is. Yay. We see it. It's there. Gabriel's got to head out, man. Thanks for joining us even for a few minutes. I appreciate the support, brother. Thank you. Yeah, so Jeff Pott says he has to wait for tomorrow for payday. And, you know, I totally get that. I totally get it. We got 30 days, but I just want to get as high a number as we can early to sort of, you know, ride the momentum wave. So, but I understand. All right. So I don't really want to, I don't want to do any of the characters you haven't seen yet, because I'm going to save that for tomorrow. So let's, we'll start with the character we all know. We'll do the Wraith. But unlike when I did them in the sketchbooks, I'm going to use solid black on this. You guys can't even see that, can you? Gosh darn it. I'll use my miniature golf pencil here to kind of darken this up a bit. I put him in an Australian duster because I actually went to Australia back in, there we go, back in '93. And my wife and I actually both, you know, being total tourists, bought dusters. And I had bought an Australian cowboy hat. And but I really like kind of that look, you know, that kind of flaps on the shoulder kind of thing. And come on, quit bleaching out on me. I wonder if that's not bad. They had like those shoulder flaps and stuff on the jacket we thought were really, really cool. So anyway, when I was designing this character, I thought, oh, I got to put him in an Australian duster. Well, for some reason, maybe because we never wore our dusters, we got rid of them. And so I had to actually, instead of pull out the duster that I hadn't used to have in my closet, I actually had to go search the internet and download a picture to remember what a duster looked like. It's one of those things, right? You go in your garage and there's got nothing but crap all over the place. And you're like, I've had this for 20 years. I'm never going to use this. Let's get rid of it. And then like 2 weeks after you get rid of it, you're like, oh my gosh, where's that thing? I need it. And so is the case with my Australian duster. Facebook's blocking my stream. Why? Don't they like me either? This is an excellent question. And a lot of the characters are based off movie actors. So oh, I see. That's a bit too saucy for me. Micra is up late. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate, but to be honest with you, it wasn't completely unexpected. Yeah, we're all just trying to get along. I mean, get along in life, not necessarily get along. Clearly, there's some people that are trying not to get along with me right now. But I mean, that's what happens. You get in, you know, in a politically charged social environment that we're in, that, you know, people get labeled. And I mean, can you even call Comicsgate a group? I mean, they're more of a, just a kind of a, it's kind of a label, an association. It's not even an association. It's kind of a way of thinking about comics, maybe. And I would bet that you couldn't even pin down a bunch of people that would necessarily, that would call themselves Comicsgate, that would agree with, you know, what subject matter should be in comics, what subject matter shouldn't be in comics, right? So, you know, it's like, what I try to tell people is that, you know, if there's some people that take on a label, whatever that, you know, of a group or whatever, that, you know, you're going to have people that don't behave, you know, but that doesn't mean that, you know, is a reflection on everybody that happens to, you know, take on that same generalized label. You know, it's like, not all Republicans are saints, you know, and not all conservatives are nice people. Not all liberals are nice people, you know. It's just, people are people, and we should be, you know, judging people on their personal behavior, not on the behavior and actions of somebody else that might happen to agree with them on something, you know. So if I find all these people that, you know, like cherry vanilla yogurt, which I happen to love cherry vanilla yogurt, and we form the Cherry Vanilla Yogurt Society, and then, you know, one of these people goes out and robs a bank, kills somebody, or does something, or says something, you know, atrocious online or whatever, then does that mean that everybody in the Cherry Vanilla Society is a bad person? I mean, that's essentially what's going on in social media now. It's just ridiculous. You know, we used to be able to judge people on their own merits for how they behaved, what they said, how they acted, and not anymore. So yeah, it'll take me a while to adjust to it, but thank you, Jay Lee. Appreciate it, man. There's some truth to that. You can't watch the Jack Show. See, this is the kind of thing that just kind of cracks me up. I don't even know what that is. You know, it's like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying I don't have any idea what that is. And so if, you know, someone were to say, oh, you know, we hate the Jack Show, it's this, that, or the other thing, and because you associated with someone who's on the Jack Show, then suddenly you're that, you know, an evil person or something. And it's like, and I don't even know what they're talking about. You know, whenever anybody comes out and says, oh, this is a hate group, or these people are racist, my first reaction is they're not, because that terminology has been completely destroyed in culture, that it means nothing anymore. It's like, I don't like you, therefore, you know, think of the worst thing I can possibly say about you, you know. And I love how, you know, you'll get moralizing from people based on, I mean, they're judging my character based on the fact that I launched a book on a live stream of somebody they don't like, you know, and they don't even know me, you know, they know nothing about me. And yet they're the ones that are acting, you know, like evil people would act. You know, it's really amazing what's going on in society right now. It's somewhat depressing, isn't it? But I did this live stream to decompress, not to make myself more ticked off. So, let's change the topic and talk about John Carter of Mars. What a great movie that was. I just saw a video about, you know, all the things that we all know why that movie failed. You know, casting and marketing. Because it really was not a bad movie. I mean, I don't think so. But, you know, I'm very much a John Carter apologist. So I don't know if you can trust my judgment on this movie. I'm usually a pretty good film critic, but I wanted that movie to be good so badly that I think it's possible that I could have overlooked flaws in it. I just didn't think Taylor Taylor, whatever his name is, was a dynamic enough actor to really carry that film. as the lead. I thought the girl that played Deja Thoris was perfectly good. I remember her, she was in that one of those Wolverine movies, wasn't she? One of those X-Men Wolverine movies. See, Joe's in agreement with me there. I think that's right. I think that's all you can do, right? Is just you do the best you can, you know, and there's always going to be, you know, some opposition along the way. So. John Carter was very good. I think the problem was Disney just removed the of Mars and just modern audiences didn't make the connection or didn't care. That's part of the truth right there. I agree here. I like Mark Strong a lot. He was really good. But the interesting thing, or maybe not interesting, but one of the many mistakes they made was changing the name of the film so it became completely ambiguous. It meant nothing, right? The ad campaigns were less than exciting and stellar, and you know, they just did, for as much money as they spent on marketing, like I think they had a $150 million marketing budget. It's just it's amazing how they squandered it. Leg Kick wants to know, I've told this story before, but I will again, I guess. Have you seen the art to the original Ghost Rider from Marvel, the all-white cowboy? Absolutely. That's what this was originally. I came up with this back in 96, 97 maybe. And it was originally a pitch to kind of revive or revitalize or rethink or reimagine, maybe that's the word I'm looking for, reimagine the Western Ghost Rider. And, you know, as you can imagine, nobody at Marvel, and of course, in the mid-90s, I had done Sludge, but I hadn't really done anything else beyond that, you know, in terms of mainstream books. So I didn't really have much clout, if any. And I was, you know, trying to push a project as a writer-artist. And so, you know, that was going to go nowhere. But, you know, I gave it a shot anyway. And so I couldn't ever get anybody to even look at it, you know. But I thought the concept was really, really strong. And so and even though the funny thing is, you know, if this guy was, you know, Wraith of God, if he was actually an angel or you know, an avenging angel or whatever sent from God, he would probably be wearing white, not black, right? But I couldn't obviously make him white because then obviously he'd look exactly like the Ghost Rider. So I had to make him black, and I changed his hat too, gave him one of those kind of square top, flat brimmed hats, which I kind of like. And but then as the story developed in my mind, and as I was working on it, it started to make really perfect sense that this guy would be wearing black. And I'm not going to elaborate. And you'll have to wait till it comes out to read it because I don't want to ruin it. But so it just sort of, and it sat there, and I did some artwork for it. You know, I've shown you guys the pages, right? The initial concept pages I did, which were this one, So you got these vultures feeding on something, right? And then the Wraith comes riding up and they fly off. And then we open the double page spread where we got this corpse that these vultures were feeding on, right? And that was the original opening. And I did those 3 pages as kind of, sort of a, to go along with the pitch, right? But I never even got far enough to actually show the pages. But so I sat on those pages for a long, long time. And I was actually going to use them to open this graphic novel that I'm doing right now. But I felt like the opening gave too much away. Not from what you just saw there, but it led to something else that I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to. Anyway, so I felt like I needed to change the beginning, which is exactly what I did. And those are the 3 pages. Actually, I took what was essentially like a 5-page opening sequence, and now it's like an 8-page opening sequence. The three of those pages are on the campaign right now, and you guys have seen most of you have seen seen the black and whites of them, but they're actually colored on the campaign page, courtesy of Hi-Fi Color. I got them Brian Miller to do some coloring for me there. And but I think it's going to work. The story's going to work way better. Because one of the elements of this story is the mystery element of just exactly who's who. And I was able to strengthen that as opposed to weaken it, which originally I thought the original opening weakened it. And so now I think that element is stronger in it, which I wanted it to be. Because I want to keep you guys guessing a little bit until the end anyway. And I realize that's all very ambiguous, but it'll make sense when I get it done. Did I read The Dark Tower? No, I didn't. I'm not a big Stephen King fan. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting that you would say young Hugh Jackman. I mean, that's what I was too. By the time he was probably too old by the time they actually made the film, but during the early. So there we go. There's Wraith of God, by the way, just for fun. So anyway, I'm sorry, I cannot talk and push buttons at the same time. Okay, there we go. What's the guy's name? Ian McCaig. If you haven't picked up Ian McCaig's, his art book, it's kind of like the art of, and it has like tons of his movie stuff in there. And he did a ton of production work on John Carter. And he drew John Carter, basically Hugh Jackman as John Carter. And that's the type of guy that would have had the charisma and the stature to pull off that part and the charm to pull it off. So, and I think we'd be looking at a completely different movie, you know, had they cast Hugh Jackman in that role as opposed to, or someone like that, as opposed to Taylor Kish. And I'm not, like trying to cap on Taylor Kish. I just didn't feel that, didn't feel he had the presence to carry that film. So I guess that makes me a hater, right? Are you into the European artist? That's kind of a vague question. Old Dirty Fatty wants to know, are you into the European artist? Do you mean that in just general terms? Am I into European artists? I mean, I know what you're saying. I think that there's a certain look that European artists have that perhaps American artists wouldn't have. And some of them, yes, and some of them, no. I think it's an interesting, I think Travis Charest, for example, I think is a guy who has a very sort of European look and quality to his work. And I love his stuff. It's tremendous. But they're not people I've really looked at until recently, and I don't know how greatly any of that stuff has affected my style at this point in my life. Now, are you saying I'm stealing as much as possible, or you are? There we go, Louis Brightraven. Dropping the pop culture knowledge. Actually played Deja was Lynn Collins. That's right. And yes, she was in Wolverine Origins as Kayla Silverfox. So yeah, I thought she was totally fine. I kind of liked the idea of casting Deja Force as a more of an athletic, strong female character than sort of a. Although I don't know that she was wimpy in the Edgar Rice Burroughs books either. So. I was totally fine. Obviously she wasn't a name actress, and if they had cast two really big leads in that movie, it probably would have, and changed the name, they would have done, probably would have made its money. So. What was this? Oh, I see. I'm getting behind here. Mobius and Barry Windsor-Smith are two of my favorite artists, so I guess I am into EU styles. Yeah, I mean, I would consider, well, obviously Mobius is very European style. And so is Barry Smith. I mean, obviously they're both Europeans, but they both carry that sort of, and it's funny because Barry Windsor-Smith was, when he broke into comics, was very much a Kirby type. He was a Kirby clone there for a while when he was doing the superhero stuff. And then he got into Conan and just totally went another direction, which was really, really cool. And obviously, got him the attention that he deserved. Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate it, man. Jeremy Irons voicing the alien? Which alien are we talking about? Because Tars Tarkas was Willem Dafoe. I'm totally with you, man. That's what I'm saying. I totally agree with Big Joe Bernardo. Well, there's a heck of a lot of good art, European artists. I mean, that's for sure. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how all these artists that are, comic book artists or storytellers or whatever, how they're all going to, as the landscape changes in the comic industry, what we're going to see differently, because you saw so many Europeans coming over to do American comics, and we're still seeing that, but we're seeing less and less opportunity for what we consider mainstream comics at Marvel and DC. So we're always questioning. Everybody's been questioning this for like 50 years, but what are the sales going to be like in another 5 years? Is the industry still going to be able to survive in its current form? And You know, what happens to all these artists that are working in this medium? You know, does European comics, do they continue to survive in their graphic album format and attract actually more Americans to go over to Europe and do stuff, as opposed to American comics attracting European artists to come over? It's be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay, but that's not what we were talking about. Somebody dropped Jeremy Irons voicing the alien for John Carter. Oh, I see. Okay, there's where you're at. Okay. Oh, I'm right. Leg kick. I am right. Well, dudes, 16 people watching. That's actually not a bad crowd for this late at night. But I got to go to bed so I can get up and do this again tomorrow all day. Let me say again to all you guys that back the campaign or planning on backing the campaign, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Whew, what a day. So tomorrow maybe I'll feel a little bit more normal and we'll get back to my irreverent, funny self. So anyway, guys, thanks for dropping in this late at night with this little notice. I appreciate it. Kind of gave me a boost to my spirits. Thank you very much. And tune in tomorrow sometime. I'll be on, I swear I'll probably be on and off all day. I can't do late 8-hour live streams because they cut them. But, you know, I'll be doing 2 or 3 hours at a time and then taking a break and then coming back. So push, push, push. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.